watch for the moves, they're not hard to find. Strong arm tactics so loud, only themselves in mind. Every player has dreams of making Orca fame. They'll live on in the minds of those who get in their way. Orcas all say, don't come for me. Midners boots, they're so vain. As we set up the podcast webcam, the pod is here to talk Orca game. Orca King CK with delusions of fame. In this LRG world, he's the apex predator. Dani and Jules in tow, always ready to go. Now it's time for the show, they're the apex predators.
Hello and welcome to the Orca Pod, the Apex Predators of Australian Survivor LRG podcasting. I am back. I missed last week's coverage. Dani said I would be late. I never arrived. My daughter was starring in a musical, and then we went out to McDonald's and I was not able to be here. But sometimes family comes first. My daughter, who's also now my star producer. I said morning producer, and now I have a producer. She's doing a fantastic job. Thank you. Well done. And you know, Dani said at the start of the show last time, Dani said she doesn't like the long waffling intro. That's wrong. That's a key part of the program, the long waffling intro. And I was sad that Dani didn't give it to the crowd who wants it. What we need to talk about most importantly is coming up on the 1st of August. There are Orca drinks in Melbourne. Numerous Bromelo medals will be handed out. There are actual medals. These need to be seen in person to be believed. And there will be also a live reunion for Uncharted Waters. This is going to be, if you live in Melbourne, this is the Survivor event of the year. I don't care if you went to like an actual watch party with like actual Australian survivors. That's nothing. That's nothing compared to this. This is the Survivor event of the year, mainly because I'm paying for it. It's free. So get your butts down there. 1st of August at some venue that I can't recall. Look on the Facebook page for all the details. Now, she capably took over the hosting last week. We're bringing her back in. Let's bring in my partner in crime, fellow Orca, the Orca of Uncharted Waters. Let's bring her in. Dani, welcome.
Hello.
Why don't you like the long-winded intro?
No, I like that you do it. I don't need to do it. That's your specialty. I'm quite happy to get to the heart of it and just run things with Jules.
Well, I would like you to do it in the future if I'm not there. Now, because I want to hear, I think you'd be good at it. I think you'd have lots to say. Now, Jules is not available. She's very tired after working hard. So it's just going to be the two of us. But sometimes with interviews, 2 works better than 3. And we're very luckily joined by the top 2 performers of this season. Firstly, I wasn't here for the finale. Do you want my quick thoughts?
I mean, come on. You want to give them to us. Let's go.
I think that I don't know why we're getting idols at Final 5. Did you talk about that? Like, what
we
the hell?
We did. We were. Yeah.
I like the last challenge. I like the challenge that Will won with the pictures.
Challenge is great. Challenge is really good. Yeah.
Sort
really
of final challenge, amazing race vibes where you got to put the history back together. But, you know, I like that. That's fun. I like the rope maze. That would have taken forever to set up by someone. That would have been like so long to put that together. That was cool. I don't know why they had this idol. That was pointless. And I thought Natalie choosing to save Will, and maybe I missed this. It didn't feel like he talked too much about this as a move, or did he talk about it as a move in this final Tribal Council? Because it won him the game. Like, in all objective standards, Natalie should have removed Will. I do appreciate that Natalie had been saying she could beat Will for a while. I'm not sure why she thought that. But I also appreciate that she did say that she was concerned the votes were actually coming on to her.
Yeah.
And that if they were, by doing this, she would actually save herself, which made a lot of sense. Except the votes weren't coming onto her. But I stand a person who just thinks they're going to win. That's what, if I made it at the end of Playing with Fire, I would have sat next to anyone because I would have thought I would have beat all those most and I would have lost. So I stand Natalie.
I don't care. Doesn't matter who I sit next to. If I'm there, bitches, I'm going to win this game.
If I'm at Final Four, I could have played the worst game possible, and I guarantee you, I will be worried that they're taking me out. So I understand Natalie's decision when it was less about that she could beat Will and more that she was concerned that maybe there was a move afoot that she wasn't aware of. But she did, by this action, give Will the win over, like, it cost Anthea the game. Like, I don't know what this jury were thinking, but if Will wasn't there and it was Janine with Anthea and Nat, I believe Anthea is winning that game. Like, yes. We won't know unless we poll these people, but I truly believe that. So this was a really pivotal decision. I understand you gave her the Brommy for it, and you know what? I'm actually here for this. I questioned it, but I'm here for it. So
the more you ruminate on it, the more you understand our thinking.
I also thought that Will and Anthea both had fantastic final tribals. I do actually think that Anthea's personally was better, but I was just so in on Anthea's story, and I've made this point about as a returnee, I would always vote for this body of work returnee. Will, obviously, I think Will had the stronger game, but at the end of the day, I had both of these people on my team, and I annihilated this draft. I said, was Will not my first pick? I looked at this guy and said, maybe Aston was my first pick, but
Aston was your first pick.
You would snap up Aston. But Will was my second pick, and I said, this guy, Aston was for the Orca. He let us down because he wasn't Orca at all. But Will was my actual winner pick when I made that draft. And I said, this guy has what it takes to win the game. So without further ado, we're listening a little bit of Duke, so we're going to bring up the graphic. Whoop, whoop. All right, the winner of Canberra Survivor 4, joining Canberra has some great winners. Its hall of winners is pretty incredible. You've got Jeremy. You've got Ma. Some say that Ma has played the best game in the LRG that anyone's ever seen. I think we've said this. Like, then we have Bethany, probably came out sort of a sneaky under the radar winner, but definitely an excellent winner in her own right. And now we have joining that alumnus of absolutely incredible winners, Will. Let's bring him in.
Am I here? Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, no, I'm really happy to join those amazing
group
winners. It's an amazing group. Yeah.
Are you how pleased were you for me when I picked you early in the draft?
So yeah, I was watching that, and you were like so confident that I was winning. Like, you drafted me and you were like, well, Will's winning. Will, it's not even a doubt. No doubt in my mind. Will's gonna win. And I was like, is he spoiled? Like, how does he know? Which I was annoyed about, because I wanted to be like, I wanted to be like underestimated and like not, I don't know, I wanted it to be interesting. So
well, exactly, it was that way for Jules and I.
Yeah.
Because Jules, I like based off your Meet the Cast video, Jules and I were not drafting you.
Unimpressed. Yeah.
You were unimpressed. Super impressed with your game. Underwhelmed by your Meet the Cast.
Okay.
It's not a guarantee. Look, it's not a guarantee in life or LRGs. Lots of different people have won LRGs with different play styles. But you, in your Meet the Cast, reminded me of someone Dani knows very well, the winner of Dani's first season, Sydney Survivor, the amazing Sam Green, who I called as the winner pick of Sydney before coverage because he's so smart, capable, intelligent, emotionally intelligent, able to communicate with lots of different people in a way that people connect with. And that's the feeling I got from you when you Meet the Cast, that everyone would feel good about you, but no one would feel threatened by you, which I think is basically in the 2-day LRG, the ultimate style you need to make it. Did
I
you
like that
know?
comparison. I've never thought about that comparison before, but I can see what you mean.
Did you think that you had the skill set to win an LRG?
I think I thought that I was less good socially than I actually was. I think that's something I didn't realize I had as much. And yeah, with like kind of like you mentioned, the ability to kind of be threatening, but also never go too far out in the open and be able to kind of go back under the radar. I feel like I've always had that ability to kind of, I don't know. I'm not like I can usually I don't know. I find it pretty easy to like fly under the radar in that way. So yeah, like kind of be competent, but not like overly over the top in that competence, you know?
Completely unorthodox.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You kept
Not
saying that
awkward
I'm the
anyway.
least orca person possible. Oh, well.
Look, it's very rare that an orca will win a game just because they are so orca.
Yeah.
The sorry, I had to, my producer's role was being taken and she was a little bit concerned. Because normally Dani does the comments, but my producer's here to do the comments at the moment. Walk us through your game. You know, you start on this tribe. Did you know, were you a avid watcher of Canberra Survivor? Did you know these returnees? Had you seen their game?
I'd seen season 2 in like completion, and then I'd kind of like skimmed season 1. So I was very aware of Simon and Haley. I really wanted to be on Haley's tribe, was devastated that I wasn't. I was really like knowledgeable of Rose because she was just in like the start of season 1 so much. So those are the 3 people I was kind of most aware of.
And you join a tribe and you go to this split situation. And early on, that's where this alliance forms. Alliance that lasts most of the game with yourself, Anthea, Derek, and sadly Ben, who was lost to us too soon. Though I think that was probably for the benefit of that alliance because he would have drawn a lot of attention to it. You know, obviously you're going to say yes to an alliance, but did you feel like these were people that you could go a long way with when you met them at that challenge?
It was like the best possible configuration of people, honestly, like just people you just immediately click with. And I remember like standing there like in that food challenge and thinking like, oh my God, like did I just meet like 3 amazing friends immediately? Like as soon as this game started, I just couldn't believe how well it started. And it was like the perfect group. It was like someone like Ben who's going to take the heat away, someone like Derek who you can strategize with on like a very similar wavelength, and someone like Anthea who has played this game before and is going to be like a returnee. So it was just like, wow. And that's what I knew coming in would be like the biggest hurdle. Like, would I be on a tribe with people that I click with immediately? And then it just happened immediately. So yeah, kind of a dream, to be honest.
It really appeared that way. Like it didn't ever seem at any point that the 4 of you, including Ben, second guessed each other. You just went, yes, let's fucking go.
Oh, except when we had like complete indecision over what to do on the second vote, and then we kind of lost a little bit. But that's when 2 of us voted for Natalie and the other 2 voted differently for Mushi and Simon. Yeah,
those early votes could be hard though. There's still 7 people in the mix. You're still figuring each other out. You guys are not wanting to make your foursome so known only 2 votes in. So like I understand the miscommunication that happens at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, we just weren't willing to like commit to anything at that point in time, I guess. Yeah.
And then you get to a swap and Mars comes over to you, and you know there was a comment there which I assume is that Derek, the AO3NGU, or is that Mars? Who is that? This one.
Oh, I think that's Andy. He's very invested in the Melbourne boys.
All right, so there's a lot of talk this season about how legit the Melbourne boys were.
Yeah,
Derek basically said on his interview that
Derek was anti it. Yeah, I was on board. I was in.
So it was real for you.
I think-
it was real for you, not real for Derek.
I was the connection between Derek and Mars, right? I was like in the middle of those two. Yeah, but I think it was like opportunistic for like all of us. But maybe Derek wasn't as willing to keep Mars around for the long haul, whereas I saw him as like a really good shield, I guess. Yeah.
And that's why I'm seeing one type of player a different type of way, right? So you saw him as a shield. Obviously, can see him as the threat that he is, strategic, a little calculated, playing from the bottom and using that to your advantage. Whereas Derek is like, I don't want a part of that. That's way too threatening to my game. Like, so it's really interesting. The exact same person can be seen from two different people's perspectives.
Yeah. And the way I was looking at it, I was like I didn't know that Mars had played before. I didn't know that he was playing up this massive, like, big king of the game role in his confessionals. So perhaps I kind of underestimated him, like, as a threat in that way. Whereas So, yeah.
Did you watch Uncharted Waters with him in it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
very
what did you think in comparison?
Game. I think he was definitely more challenged in this season. So I was honestly more impressed with him in Mount Majura, to be honest. He was more flexible and more willing to, maybe more adept socially. I don't know. I think he was just like in a spot where he couldn't do much in Uncharted Waters, like didn't have as much room to maneuver. And maybe that was more...
He had plenty of room to maneuver. He chose not to.
He just chose not to. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Anyway, enough about
Bree wants to know why your trio alliance was misogynist and was
sexist.
to be part of a Melbourne boy and gal alliance.
No.
Well, she wasn't on our swap tribe. If she was on our swap tribe, she would have definitely.
Perhaps you could have worked with Bree.
Yeah.
It didn't
well, actually. I think the show showed less of me and Bree working together than was actually the case. I feel like I was always chatting to Bree.
That's a good question because it didn't look like you guys were working together at all.
Yeah, I think definitely from the Buru side, come merge, it was like Mars and Bree. Those were the two I was like, oh, okay, these two are like game players. These two are people I want to work with. And that was like my thinking come merge. Because I was worried that all of the people who I perceived as really like strategic would get picked off at the start of the merge. So I was trying to that's why I tried to do that kind of 6-person super alliance thing to try and protect those people, which I was also on board with, but like no one else seemed to be on board. I was trying to make that happen.
You were the Q. You were the Q of that one.
Yeah, I was the Q of that. Yeah,
you're the Q6.
There's a question from Natasha Tucker who's asking lots of questions.
Yes.
Is this someone you know? This isn't Nat.
This is my sister, yeah.
She said, how glad were you to not be on the red team?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would have done as well on the red team. I think Gula Tribe was just the perfect place for me to start. So, yeah.
Oh, I think it's a perfect tribe for you to start on too. Absolutely. Yeah, you really lucked out with that.
I want to go back to one more thing pre-merge. You tried to play, I think, a reasonably under the radar game. But you really let yourself go on the running challenge. You're like, this is my thing, I'm going for it. And you really showed some incredible fitness and speed. That was a really pivotal outcome because that allowed you to say Mushy, which then went to like Ashton going. I know Ashton came back in, but like that made the red tribe more fractured because they had to vote for someone. Did you come in thinking that you would not go as hard on something like that, or you just couldn't help yourself? It paid off, but...
Yeah, 100%. I had like no issue with going full send when the opportunity allowed it. I think like the first few challenges, there weren't things that really suited my skill set. So like there was no reason to really go out of my way. But I knew that like there wouldn't be a better opportunity to win a challenge than that one. I just knew that was like a challenge like made for me. So yeah. And it's an individual, like it was a double boot individual immunity. Like you have to go for that, Yeah.
We have a question from the audience here from your mate Andy. How were you able to be number one for Anthea and number one for Natalie at the same time. How are you? Everyone's number one, including mine. I wanted to say, I don't think you realized you were Natalie's number one until the final four.
Yeah.
It was a surprise to you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think it was after Derek went out, and then Natalie, because I was worried that Natalie was like closer to Derek than she was for me, and she would play one of her idols for Derek. And then when we got Derek out, I realized like, oh wait, like Natalie's like fully in this with me. So yeah.
What did you think about that? Like, you know, Natalie comes to you and says, "I'm coming with you. I didn't give you this idol. Like, you know, if I win immunity."
Yeah,
you know,
she said that.
Like,
yeah.
Are you like, what's going on here? Am I actually playing a really bad game? Like, am I a goat? Like, what is going on? What has she got the misread, or have I got the misread? Like, what were you thinking in this scenario? Because it would have been strange, I feel. Yeah.
I can't remember. I remember thinking that I needed to do more before Derek went out. I remember like thinking around final 7, final 6, when Anthea tried to make the move on Derek at 7 and it didn't work, and I was left out of that move. I remember thinking like, oh shit, am I going to get to the end and like get 0 votes because I'm not making this move against Derek right now? So then that really like clicked myself into gear that I needed to get Derek out at 6. On the Natalie connection.
Just go back one step on that one first. You told Anthea after the fact that you would have voted for Derek. Was that true, or was that just what you were saying?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I think we talked about the move, and I think I pushed back on the move like that round. I said, "Oh, we should wait."
You're like, right? I don't know if we should do this now.
Yeah, but then like the fact that she actually went and voted for it, I think if she told me that that's what was happening, I would have been on it as well. So then I guess it would have happened. I'm not really sure. It was a while ago, but I'm happy with the way it panned out in the end.
To Natalie, final 4. I'll give you this idol. You know, what are you thinking in that moment? Like, in terms of, you know, she's been telling everyone she could beat you. You know, that was incorrect, obviously. But were you worried that maybe the perception of you was that poor at that time?
It made me realize that I had another path to the end at 4. Because I was banking on Anthea being my second vote at 4. Like that's what I knew. I just needed to get to 4 with another vote, so it would be 2-2 at worst. I thought I had Anthea, and that's why I gave her that idol at 5. And then once Natalie started saying that, I realized I had a potential, like another option to get there. So yeah, because if I was voting with Anthea, I reckon we would have voted Natalie together. But because I was voting with Natalie, we could vote Janine together. So that was kind of the tossing up. Like, do I vote Janine or Natalie at final 4?
And when did you realize that Anthea is not with you at final 4 and is in fact voting for you like she should?
Yeah, so we had like that conversation like right before I went to speak to Natalie, where Anthea told me she didn't think she could beat me at the end. And that was kind of, and then after that I went and talked to Natalie, and she said that she would, what did she say? She said she wasn't sure if they were voting for me or her, whereas I'd essentially already been told that they were voting for me. So
you didn't let her into the secret, I assume.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were talking about it last week when we were talking about the finale and how masterfully you played that, right? Because at this point in time, most people in your position at final 4, when you know you're the target, can go a little bombastic, right? You're pulling on any string that'll work. You're pushing every button that you could possibly do. You played the way you played the whole game. You're cool, you're calm, you're collected. You hear Nat voice that she has some concern. You're talking about the really long conversation going on between Anthea and Janine. You kind of just go, what if we voted together? Like, if it was just so, like, there was no, like, it didn't even seem calculated, right? It was just like, and to like make it seem like it was Nat's idea. Like, it was beautifully played in that moment. Like, there are a few people who could do that in that moment.
Yeah, and you say it's like it was really calculated, but like even looking back at it, I think like how much of that was me, because obviously that's what I was trying to get her to do, but like how much of that was she was always gonna do to me anyway. I don't know.
I mean, when I say calculate, I'm not trying to do it in a sneaky way. Like it's masterful in that moment. Yeah. You see that she she says that you're her number one. You see
Yeah.
that she is scared for herself. You're obviously internally panicking while remaining on the outside very cool, calm, and collected. And you use that to your advantage in the best way.
Yeah. And I was really trying to push that, like that we could both make it together sort of angle. Like there's a third option here. Let's just do Janine together and then we're both there. Like, that sort of thing.
There's a few questions from the audience.
Is Max your brother on several accounts?
This one first. These are your big fan. Max Brotto is your big fan. Would you have sacrificed yourself for Natalie like she did for you? So I guess in a scenario, let's say at the final four, that would you have basically, I guess, sent Anthea into fire to save Natalie?
So I'm not a target at 4.
So
you've got the necklace. You've got the necklace at 4.
Yeah. Are you just voting out? Would you be voting for Anthea at that vote, or are you sending Natalie out?
Well, it depends, like what the scenario is of who I think I can beat at the end. I guess in this.
Do you think you could beat Anthea? That's the question, I suppose.
Yeah.
You did? Okay. All right. Next question from another Max. Max Tucker says that he's a bigger fan. How do you feel about choking the flip challenge? What's the flip challenge? Oh, that running thing. That challenge was dumb.
I didn't understand how that challenge worked. I think I flipped over the wrong one and then I lost.
I didn't understand it either. It was silly.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Max is claiming number 1 fan now. Max Brotto. How did you feel losing the catching challenge to Jordan?
Yeah, so that was, I don't know, I think I did my fair share in that challenge. It was quite a physical challenge, and Jordan was just taller than me, I think. That's the issue.
Okay.
Are these your siblings in the chat just roasting the shit out of you right now? Is that what's happening?
One of them's my cousin, and then my sister's boyfriend as well.
Okay. I love they're all here. Natasha's just saying she's a Mushy fan now for some reason. We're all Mushy fans.
We're all Mushy fans.
Next one, Andy's claiming to be your ceiling fan, your friend Andy. He wants to talk to a serious question. Earlier on, you voted for Natalie in the pre-merge. Immediately revealed it to her. How much of a role do you think that played in, I guess, in your relationship?
Yeah, so that was when I got like pressured last minute to vote for Natalie by Ben, when Ben was like, let's just do something random.
Yeah.
And I remember like that entire tribal, I was like, what is wrong with you, Will? Like, you didn't want to do this, and you've just been like, you've just changed your mind last second, and now you've like screwed up your entire game because now you've got someone on the tribe that doesn't trust you. And I liked Natalie. Like, I thought I could work with Natalie the entire, first 2 rounds. So I was just being honest. I was just being honest with her and saying like, I didn't want to do this. Like, I think that's why it was effective, because it like was genuinely how I felt. Yeah. And I just didn't want that sort of like, ooh, I've like got a secret vote that I don't want anyone to find out about, like on my back for the foreseeable future. I guess I could have just tried to get Natalie out in the near future, but I don't know. I was.
Do you read that Natalie's the sort of person that would react? Some people, if you told them you voted for them, be like scorched earth on you, right? Some people will forgive. Do you think? Did you read that for Natalie? I also think it's your personality, right? You telling me you voted for me and being really sorry about it, I might genuinely believe. If I told you that I voted for you and I was really sorry about it, I don't think you'd believe me for a second. So your personality,
and that would be your downfall.
Yeah, but do you think it was your personality, Nat's personality, or you got lucky with, I guess, both?
I guess lucky that we were both just earnest about it. Yeah, because I agree. Like, if I said it to Mars, I don't think Mars is taking that very well. Yeah. So I guess. Yeah, it's how you read that person. Like, maybe if it was Simon, I wouldn't go and tell Simon that. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
Let's talk about the final tribal council. I think that you could. I think your answers were good. I think you could have done more to own your game. Is that a combination of the time, the tiredness, or was that part of your overall strategy, which was to be a little bit still unassuming. Like you're not a big, braggart, sort of boisterous person. You're going to be subtle about your success.
I thought I did. I thought I tried to play up my successes quite well.
You talked about them. But
I was
think
really
you could
happy
have
with my
been
final
bigger.
trophy.
I think
I
you
could have been
bigger.
bigger. Oh, what did I miss? What could I have said?
I don't think, and I might be wrong about this. I watched this
Yeah.
weeks ago. I don't think you talked enough about getting Natalie to put you to fire.
Right. Yeah. I think I talked about it when they said, like, what was like the biggest chance you took in the game, and I said like, oh, I had to trust Natalie to take it to 2-2. I think that was the time I mentioned it.
Yeah,
but
I
I do agree.
trust.
That was probably the winning move. So I probably could have.
It was the winning move, and I don't think it's trust.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about trust. Like, she's either going to
you're right.
burn you or not. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's her call. It's how you convinced her to make that decision. And as Dani said, you did it so masterfully that I actually like it was the winning move because I think if she votes sensibly, like logically, purely on logic, on best chance possible, it's voting you out. So you managed to do it. And I think it's more about her fear. Like she thought she could beat you, but I really think it was the fear of the votes being on her. And as Dani said, the way you knew you were getting voted for, the way you subtly got her to push you towards that chance to save herself, but without being pushy about it, is like a supremely great move. And I think it highlights all of the great moves that you made throughout the entire game, but because you were always subtle but incredibly effective with your moves.
Yeah, you're right. And it was something that had only happened, like it only happened half an hour ago, so maybe I hadn't truly like because I was expecting to go home at 4, right? That was like a full Hail Mary. So it was like a miracle that I was even there in the first place. So but I'm happy that I said enough to get the jurors over the line in the end.
If you'd been at the end, who would you have voted for? Which were one of your number ones?
Like if it was Anthea, Janine, Natalie at the end, Anthea would have got my vote for sure.
That's nice to hear. Anthea's happy about that. She's backstage. She hears all. She's happy with it.
She's whipping backstage.
I'm looking at how you posting all these roasty comments from your friends and family. Like, are these not questions that they've like asked you before, or is this just the first time?
I haven't been able to talk about it for years.
You've been keeping your mouth shut. Very good. Now, you mentioned at the start you'd only watched Canberra 2. You watched a little bit of Canberra 1. Has post playing this game turned you into an LRG superfan? Because you spent most of this season fact checking and correcting me in the comments when I got shit wrong.
I think, like massive fan of the Australian LRGs.
He's nerded out since playing. I love it.
Yeah, I think like after I played, like I was like November, and then I spent like the Christmas holidays just like binging all of Melbourne, all of Backyard. And it's just like watching them after they come out as well. Just like massive fan, and massive fan of the pod as well. I love.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you watched. I'm glad you watched my season. That's how you get yourself into my heart.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a great season. Yeah. I don't know if it's number 1, but maybe top 3.
The people voted, mate. What can I say? It may be not.
There's a recency bias in that too. Let's be fair. It'd be very different if we voted again now.
It might not be number 1 in production, but it's number 1 in cast, and I think we all know that. Like, I just think we know that.
It's up there. I don't know if it's number 1 in cast.
It's up there. It's definitely up
there. Dani, do you have any more questions for our champion?
No, I don't. I just want to say congratulations again on such a brilliant, steady, confident game. Like it's having played this twice, it's hard to do, to remain in that steady mode the whole way along. Again, very different types of players, but like kudos. Like you've done what we couldn't do. So well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's surprising because sometimes I do have a tendency to panic a little bit. So I'm surprised that I managed to keep everything so like level-headed and the correct, reaction to things. So yeah, really happy with how it all went.
I have 2 final questions for you. One is, are you wanting? We haven't arranged this, and maybe we should have. This is a failure. But in the future, would you like Twelsh to come back so you can take me on?
Sure. I feel like I'll lose, but That's fine.
Get it arranged. We'll get that arranged. All very good. And the other question, were you at the Canberra Orchid Drinks? I specifically did not talk to anyone who was at those Orchid Drinks that was from a season that was coming up. I wanted no information. But were you there? I can't recall.
I was there, yeah. I was there, but I don't think I talked to you. I was like, oh,
No, I didn't want to talk to
me.
you.
That's okay.
No, we avoid, like, I avoided new people. Like, I got introduced to people, and I was like, have you played, like, Laura? And they were like, yes. I was like, okay, I can't talk to you. I'm going to be...
No, but because you're going to be talking at those things, you're going to be talking with people of your season, and you're going to be talking about your season, and you can't help it. But it's just the way it is, right?
Yeah. So you were. Oh.
I talked to Bree. I don't think I even knew you on this season. You kept it secret, CK. Sorry, Bree. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, just that. Like, I was just worried because you were so certain on the draft that that you knew something about the season. You were like, if you go back and watch it, you're just like, wait. Because I was
he makes his mind up about something. There is no backing down. He makes a determination and he guns.
My best friends have a saying called CK sure, and so like when they say like, are you sure about this? Are you CK sure? CK sure is like being like 120% sure when really you only know like 70% that you're right. Like that's what it is. Yes, I had no idea you were playing Bree. Very well done. You fooled me. Well, I was glad I'm glad you were there. That's very, very exciting. Like the first and also for what it's worth, if I knew you were winning, I wouldn't have picked you. I would specifically, like if I knew the result, I would just like hide it, basically.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Okay, that's great.
All right. Well, do you have any final words for your adoring friends and family? They're in the chat. You're a star winner. I'm sure we'll see you around again. Congratulations. Any final words?
No, I guess I'll see you at the. Are we going to do a Canberra drinks as well?
Well, I have to because Janine. I go to another Canberra drink.
Janine made, so we will be back. We will be coming again.
Coming back to Canberra. This wheel of doom keeps spinning up the people. Like Tyrone in Sydney is one episode or one boot away from also a Sydney drinks. Like this keeps happening. It is insane.
Yeah.
Well done, Will. Congratulations again, mate.
Thank you. Appreciate it. See you guys.
Bye.
You can go back to doing the comments now. My producers had to go to bed. Bring them back up. So excited to have this next guest back on the program. We've interviewed her before, and that interview was such, it was from us and from her perspective. It was all about her journey to Canberra Survivor, what she'd beaten in the form of cancer before she made it to Canberra Survivor, how, she realized on Canberra Survivor 3 that she was 1 year into, from being in remission. And so, and what that meant for her and how having cancer caused her to push herself out of her shell and do things like go on Canberra Survivor. That's what her story was about when we interviewed her. She was a little bit annoyed that she got booted when she got booted and didn't win the challenge and whatever. But it was still an amazing journey and whatever. And it was, love that. But I love that she came this time to play. She didn't come for the experience this time. She came to play. She came to win, and she was this close. She was a couple of votes, or Natalie making her having a less long conversation with Janine from winning this game. But I cannot wait to hear her story. I loved seeing her play again in this. Let's bring her in. Welcome again.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I was so excited that you were cast on this. You were my person in the first season. It was equal you and Aston that I was excited to see back. So tell us, when you got the call from Dan, were you like, I'm going to fucking win it this time?
I would love to say that was my reaction, but it wasn't.
Andy surprised me about you for some reason.
Sorry?
What was your
Andy
reaction? Called?
surprised he came on our pod. This is Anthea's second time on the pod.
I was kind of reluctant. I was like, oh, that was so hard. Why would I want to do that again? And so it took me a couple of weeks to be like, should I do this?
Ooh,
And then
Dan
my
had to
ego
win.
was like, oh, if you asked, I may as well. And then I was like, yeah, I can do this. It took me a while.
Were you still doing that in the game? Like during the game, did you keep sort of checking yourself and realizing, I can do this, I'm doing this, I can do it? Or was it once you got there, you were there, locked in, I can do this?
No, I got my head right before I started. So I started like, I wasn't thinking winning. I was thinking, you know, I can have a great time. I can enjoy myself. I can play really hard. I can play aggressively. I'm going to have a great time.
Was merge the goal?
Yeah, merge was the goal.
Yeah.
And so then when I got to merge, I was like, oh fuck, I can win. I can see how I can win. I've got to really sort of turn it on from here.
I felt like, and I don't want to jump to the merge because I don't want to talk about the merge, and I think that's where you were playing a very, very, very strong strategic game. I want to start at the start. You had presumably watched the prior seasons. Did you know Rose? Did you know Simon or know of them? Did they strike you as people you wanted to work with? It doesn't appear that was the case, even though you were all in the returnee bucket.
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward. It was difficult to know what to do, and I thought we should sort of maybe try and stick together. I'd skimmed through the season. I hadn't really watched it fully or taken notes. I really liked the idea of working with Rose, and I didn't feel like I'd connected with her, and I didn't want to be the first one to make the first strike against Simon. So I sort of tried to work with him, and but never really felt like we were locked in or anything like that.
You were locked in with the food guys.
Yeah.
Did that feel real to you? You liked all those guys?
Yeah.
That was the thing?
Yeah, it felt so good so quickly. Yeah,
Now,
it was really exciting.
That was from the get-go, instant change in your game, right? Like from that very first moment, for you to be the one to throw that out.
Yeah.
Right. And to initiate an alliance, especially a majority alliance in that moment.
Exactly.
Complete change up from the first time you came out. So how did that feel? Like just being like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do it.
No, I felt great because when Eden said that to me in season 3, it made me feel so good. So I'm like, I could just be that person. I could just say that thing, look for that opportunity and be that person, say that thing. And I, maneuvered so I was in that position and I said the thing and it worked out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You also spent you were in a good position for pretty much all the pre-merge after that point. You spent a lot of time looking for this idol. Can you tell us where the hell this idol was? Has Dan told you?
It was like just under a clump of grass, like this far away from where I was looking, just outside the zone of where I was looking.
By the gate.
It was right there. It was so annoying because I'm good at finding stuff. I can spot things, but it was just under a clump of dirt or something.
Did it take you a while to decipher the clue? I don't think Maddie ever deciphered it. Did it take you a while?
It took me a little bit just because I kept getting stuck and losing my place. Like I knew what to do and I got there and it started off like an ace in the hole, like really kind of random. So it took me a while to lock into where the actual clue started.
I respect that because I tried to do it. Dan put it up on social media and I tried to do it. And I also got lost about like halfway down the
there's so many A's and vowels.
Yeah. And I can't imagine doing that like when you looking over your shoulder, like, trying to
panic. No pen to like cross out the letters. So
you could have got the pen that was on the table though. That was my thinking.
No, that was a really thick one. It would have blotted out all the letters.
Okay.
Wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. There's not a lot to talk about with the pre-merge because you're always in such a good spot. You seem to manage your alliance, manage the group. But then you get to merge.
Before we really get to merge, I want to talk about the threat that Mars was to your 4.
Oh.
right? The swap comes in. You see the
Yeah.
boys kind of develop the Melbourne boys in that scenario.
Yeah.
That would have been pre-merge the biggest threat to your game, right? Because you had this core three.
Yeah.
You had the boys on your side. You were holding everything together, and then Mars comes along with all his charisma and strategy.
Yeah. And I didn't know what to make of Mars. I knew he was scary. So that's why I was like a little bit reluctant to talk to him, because I got the sense that he was a good player, even though he kept sort of saying he didn't know anything about Survivor. And then I heard him talking about Peridium. I'm like, dude.
What's Peridium? I don't even know what Peridium is.
Peridium does like these YouTubes on like, are you likely to win if you're wearing an orange buff? Like real, like all like full deep dive statistics into history of Survivor.
Okay.
So I clocked that Mars was a player.
Yeah.
And I like tried to have conversations with him, but like I was kind of scared of him but knew what it was. Yeah. So I tried, but then he and Derek and Will were bonding. So like, how am I going to bust in on this, like these three guys? Like I can't.
You're like, I'm
how am I going to join Melbourne boys?
Yeah, I'm neither a boy nor from Melbourne. This is not.
Yeah, so that was tricky. I didn't know how to handle him or what to do.
But what did you do? It seemed like you basically did nothing, which is probably the best thing to do. You got to trust your allies to talk to other people and not get all jealous about it. Like, you get jealous about it.
It's around here that she takes Desperation Station, right, as a defense mechanism.
Yeah. I was just about to say, with Mars, I felt like if I tried to say something, he might use it against me with my alliance. So I sort of felt it was better, like this is a hot coal, don't go near it, which I think works to an extent, but then it doesn't build that trust with him, or didn't serve me well long term.
Tell us about that more, about when you took the Desperation Station. The numbers were still in your favor at that point. It was 4-3. I know Natalie, you didn't vote for her. You considered voting for her in Ben's plan. She got votes there. Will owned up to it. And she seemed pretty still stuck with you guys. Mark, Mars, and Adele were somewhat of a disparate group with loose connections. What was the thought? I know it might be defensive, but talk us through going through the Desperation Station and therefore losing your ability to play it later at that particular vote.
Yeah, it was going into that challenge. I was thinking, when we come back, depending on what happens, we really need to think about that and who's going to be taking it. So it was just in the back of my mind. And then when we came back, I realized that I was in the same position as season 3. It was a 4-3. I was in the majority, but I just knew that, things can happen. It can just take one person to flip, or if they took it and one of them had an idol, and I knew there was an idol potentially out there, then one of us could go. So it was a very spur of the moment thing. I was with Will and I was like, one of us should take it. I'm going to take it, and just went and did it. When I go back to Tribal and Adele asked, does that mean Anthea has a vote? I was like, oh, fuck. It didn't occur to me that I might have lost my vote.
Yeah.
I didn't think that through.
Adele was selling that to the whole tribe for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, they all seem to be really stuck on the fact that it was that you would not have a vote, which would have made a much more interesting Tribal Council had that not been the case.
Yeah.
It would have been 3-3.
Yeah.
But and I think also in that moment you were defensive and Adele blows up. Right?
Yeah.
In that moment she's balls to the wall trying to make anything stick.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think her not willing to break up made it hard for any of us to do anything other than vote her.
Bree says you were so bold for using it as early as you did as a defense mechanism. I believe at the merge that and I don't know is this the experience from having played before? Obviously you didn't make the merge before, but you've got the experience. You've now achieved your goal of making merge. And you seem to be, and this is purely on the edit, the only one that was at that point thinking long term. And it starts off long term. like I'm jumping a bit, but it seemed like, you know, you're the only one who's looking at the playing field, looking at the jury, and saying, I need to blindside Derek to make progress in this game, to go forward, to have a chance at victory. I think that's absolutely the right call, but that's a hard thing to do. It's particularly hard in LRGs in the 2-day quick format to see the board that way. And I felt like you were the only one in the game really with a good view of the board. Did you feel like you could really always, like, you plotted this path intentionally?
At that point, that's when I started. Before then, I was really just working for the alliance. Like, that was my goal, is to support this alliance. And it was only in that Derek vote that I was like, okay, really got to start thinking about end game and how can I win this? And then I just did the math, and I'm like, well, it's not going to work. Trying to go to the end with Derek and Will and Natalie. And at that point, so that's why I've targeted Derek, because Will, I think, played this really well. His sort of star was fading a little bit on the second day. And so I don't know whether it was, fully deliberate or just a little bit of, running out of gas. But on the first day, like, when he did that running challenge, like, people literally had like stars in their eyes, heart eyes when they were looking at him. Yeah. But then that sort of faded on that second day. So that's why I targeted Derek. And Will really still was my number one. So that would have been really hard to turn on Will at that stage.
But you were willing to turn on him at the final four. You're like, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea, and this is the question that Will's pal Andy sort of had, did you have any idea that Natalie was going to be putting Will into fire?
No.
Were you shocked? Were you blindsided by this?
Yes, I was. I was. And I was like, but why? Why would you do that?
Well,
yeah.
Natalie had been saying, I believe to you, she at least said it to Bree, and Bree repeated it to you, that Natalie believed she could beat Will at the end. Like, had you heard that? Had she said that to you?
Oh, I don't know if I had, but I guess my read of the game was that, yeah.
But even you felt threatened by Natalie at some times. When you were listing off all the people, you're like, Will's this and Derek's that, and Natalie's like, I can't beat any of them. That's what you were saying until you started making the moves. Yeah,
Natalie had just one immunity. She had 2 idols, so she had the potential. She was sitting on a lot of potential at that point.
If she used them effectively. If she used them in a creative, effective way, which is what we talked about on this pod. She's just going to play them for herself at places she won't get votes, because that doesn't get you any votes. But if she'd done them in creative, effective, game-changing ways, then yes, I think that would be very threatening.
Yeah, we have talked about this though, like with the players that were left in the game. For her to use those idols in any sort of interesting way, it would have made no sense then come the next vote.
Exactly, and I think she would have been criticised for just making moves for the sake of making moves. So I think she was in a tough spot.
Yeah, I think if it was game, if it was a different handful of people sitting on that power, whole different story. But with the majority of blues there, wanting to take the reds out because you don't want to sit with any of them at the end, she's going to be making moves for the sake of making moves. Oh, then you vote that person out at the next tribal council. Like, she's in a rock and a hard place at that moment. Yes, it would have been fun and flashy, but for what?
Yeah. So she was in a tough spot to turn that opportunity into something that was a game-winning move, I think.
There's some questions here from Will. He wants to know how hard you were rooting for Janine.
Well, there was a bit of a bobble.
Yeah. I thought the same thing. I was watching it and I was just like, oh, Janine's going to win this. Like, I really thought that she had it.
Can I tell you, I was watching this with my friends who had not watched any of the season. They don't care, but they watched that final episode. And so when Will and I had that moment where I said, I don't think I can win, and Will said, I get it, and teared up. Like, my friend just fell in love with Will at that point. And then during that final four challenge, when Will nearly lost, she was nearly in tears. I'm like, Anna, You know, if Will wins this, he's going to win and I'm going to lose. I'm like, that kind of speaks to Will's charm.
Yeah,
I think he's got this very
He's a
wonderful.
nice guy.
Did you think? And like I know you're not a braggart, but if you're in that final three with Natalie and Janine, did you think like it's yours to lose if that's set up? You don't know you're going to win. Like anything can happen in an FTC. You don't know what they're going to say. But going in, did you think you had the inside lane if that was the position?
I was pretty confident, yeah.
Yeah.
And Anthea clean sweeps that final tribal. Like she's like she.
I don't think it's a full sweep.
I think it's a full sweep.
I don't think it. I think Dan asked, and I don't think I get Jordan's vote under that scenario.
Janine, I guess.
Maybe Janine. I don't know.
Do you know what's Jordan's vote, Janine?
That's a really interesting question I have because we see at the beginning of the game the target kind of go on the returnees, right? Like as it is in any returnee game, people who haven't returned, like newbies and returnees are targeted just because you're returnees. Like it's
you've had your shot. This is our shot. You got it. You know.
It's just it's an easy starting place to form something with somebody.
Exactly.
You've got nothing else to point at. There's a returnee. Let's start there as a bond of trust.
Yeah.
You get to merge, and there's still a few. Like there's a few standing, and then 2 out of the final 4 are returnees. Like, but it also becomes no longer a talking point.
Yeah, I know.
So when did you notice that shift?
I think probably after Aston goes.
The first time?
No, the second time.
A second time? Okay.
Well, I wasn't with Aston the first time, but I think after Aston goes, then it's really sort of, is it just Janine and I there?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just Janine and I, and so I think we were sort of non-threatening then, and so it sort of became nothing.
Do you think removing Maddie and Aston was really critical to that ceasing to be an issue?
I don't really know that it was sort of much of a thing post-merge, like returnees.
It felt like
that.
Yeah.
It seems so interesting because like you have so much more power than Aston.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we didn't make. I don't know. I guess I was scared of it being a target. Me being a target because of that. So I just sort of tried to distance myself. I was very pre-merge. I'm barely a returnee. But maybe I should have.
Well, I don't think I don't think you should have, because I think what all of the returnees did really well, because I feel you were there, but I feel from the edit that the returnee thing as a problem was gone by like mid-merge. Like no one was really talking about it.
Yeah.
And I think what all the returnees did really well was to not be seen in any way like they were a group or that they were like together. You made all these players feel like it was about this game, the game that's in front of us, tribal loyalty, pre-merge a little bit into the merge, and then also, then just optimal gameplay, good strategy, good decisions. And I feel like though you didn't, and again, I could be so wrong about this because it was a few weeks ago, but I didn't feel like you used the returnee thing much in your final tribal. And I do think it's much harder to come to that position as a returnee. Do you think that's something that you should have leaned on more in the final tribal?
I think probably, like there's a few, there's probably a few things I could have leaned on more. I felt like, it would have taken me some time to be able to pitch that well. Instinctively, I felt like it was an advantage that I had that other people didn't have. So to be able to leverage that as a reason why I should win was, I was pretty out of it by the end of the second day. So being able to formulate that as an argument was a bit beyond me.
I think what also worked for you, and less the case Maddie, because Maddie was just pure chaos, whereas you were a little more level-headed in your alliances, is that they hadn't seen you.
Yeah.
Everybody had the chance to see the other returnees. the whole like along, whereas you and Maddie are complete unknowns. So for you, it's essentially, yes, you're a attorney, but no one knows about you. No one knows what you did. They know you were pre-merge. Like what? So they get you get the clean
carry a lot
slate
of weight.
benefit, right? There's not as much weight as say Aston would have had, because obviously he was so big and bold in his original game. He carried that with him, whereas I really think that dealt in your favor. It may not have worked in your favor for you in your game because you didn't get to watch you, and like I say with Maddie, like when Maddie came out, we said like, oh, like if only she'd seen herself in her game, she would have been so different coming into this. It didn't really impact you much because you improved at a side, but I was like, but it helped you that no one had any idea who you were, even as a returning.
I sort of knew how I'd gone in, obviously I knew how I'd gone in season 3, and I knew what I'd done wrong, and I knew, like, I feel that my read was fairly correct.
Yeah.
Do you think though, if people had seen your season, that could have been more threatening because of your overall story, like the story of beating cancer and coming onto Canberra 3, which was your story? Like you didn't tell, from what we can tell in the edit, about your whole story until quite near the end when you revealed to some people that you beat cancer and then come on. You did do that, right? I'm imagining that. You told people near the end.
I mentioned it in Final Tribal. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it just didn't seem to have the impact at Final Tribal.
Yeah,
like
also, I was also a bit reluctant to sort of bring that up as a story again.
Weaponize your tragedy.
Yeah. Play the cancer card.
I will play any card at my disposal, but I wasn't sure whether it would be very effective or not. I'm a mum, and Natalie talking about her children, I could see it was not landing. So like sometimes personal stories land, sometimes people like, we wanted to hear about the game. So I wasn't sure. But it was still relevant. Like my hair was still, like I still had chemo curls from, like it was still curly and ringlety from chemo. So it was like still present in me. So, I mentioned it, but I don't know.
Hang on, sorry, maybe I don't understand about chemo treatment. Were you having chemo between seasons 3 and 4?
After you have chemotherapy and your hair falls out, it grows back curly.
Oh, okay.
So I've still got this curly hair from having chemo treatment. Like my hair is normally straight, but like it's curly in the show. So
it takes time to come back too. Like it doesn't grow back normally. It grows at a much slower pace.
Yeah. So I was still like in it.
It reset. I wonder if the perception would be different. I think the problem, I felt like it didn't land because it's like, this isn't part
out of the blue.
This isn't part of the story that we've been experiencing. But for the audience, it was part of the story we've been experiencing. And it's more meaningful to us because we've been part of that journey. But I think for them, it's like, oh, well, okay. Good for you. I'm glad that's happened. But like, it's like, why did you just bring that up? Whereas you brought it up because it's actually part of your whole Survivor journey. They just didn't know that part.
Yeah. Yeah. This game is so hard.
But so cool.
Yes.
There was a question from Max Tucker. I want to know, do you regret telling Will you're going to vote for him? I'm not sure why you'd regret that because I don't think it would have made a difference to anything. But do you regret that?
You don't think he would have? See, interestingly, I thought he went and worked on Natalie really hard and convinced her that I was going to vote for her. I didn't realize watching it that sort of came from her.
Yeah.
So
he just nudged it a little bit.
Yeah, he just fanned the flame. Yeah.
Yeah, fan those flames. Like it's the cardinal rule is to not tell someone you're voting for them, but it will like if I probably not. Like I'd worked with Will so well and felt bad that I was baking up hacked.
And you wanted that sweet jury vote, so you wanted lights on him on the way out. Go on anyway.
It made for great TV, I think.
It did. And it's not like Will smashed you. You and he had a great duel in the FTC. How many votes did you get in the end? Did you get 2? I think you deserve more than 2. I felt this
Thank
deserved to be a bit of a 4-3
I agree.
situation, if I'm perfectly
I thought
honest.
it would be. Like when they read the votes and it went 1-1-1-1, I was like, oh, this will be a really tight vote.
Yeah.
I don't think it's 5-2. To me, it's 4-3.
But I think Derek's vote counts for 2.
Yeah, Derek knew the most. Derek knew what was going on the most out of that entire jury. He was the closest to the game. He was closest to the two of you in the game that you were playing. So I agree.
And he knew I blindsided him. So to turn that, I'm very much appreciative of Janine's vote as well. But to turn Derek's into a vote, I'm proud of that.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And how did you win that talk afterwards? How long did it take for that conversation to come around, and how did it go?
Hang on, which talk?
Nat, when was it she forced fire? She puts Will in the final with you. And that's your downfall at this moment, like, because without Will in that final tribal, it's your day, right? Yeah. So how did you have that conversation? How quickly? How did it go?
I don't know that we ever have had that conversation, actually.
You ruined my game, Natalie. I could have won this thing. You never said this?
No, I don't think I've actually ever said that. I mean, but Nat's great, and we've spoken, lots post this season, and it was kind of rough for her, I think, even though she played a great game. So we've spoken about other stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you have any final words? We've loved watching you. We've loved your journey on Canberra Survivor.
You've got some Brummy noms.
Oh yeah,
you got some Brummy noms.
Was that exciting?
You are eligible for Orca of this season.
You're eligible for Orca. How exciting!
I don't know how that happened.
You were dominating this game.
Quiet domination.
That's
my strategy.
I'm actually retrospectively now doing Brummy noms for the seasons that we don't have Brummy noms. We only have Orca of the season. So now you're an elite company of people that have Brummy noms. An Orca is great, but not everyone can be the Orca. Having the Brummy noms is a special category into itself. So you're a special category of someone who's played twice. You're a special category of someone who's made a final tribal council. And most of all, a special category of having some Brummy noms and being eligible for Orca of the season. I don't know how the Congress will vote. I would be surprised if you got up. They will want you.
Me too.
Get it? But I'm glad you're part of the nominating group.
Great.
What a journey. What a journey. What a journey.
What do I need to do?
This is the apex of your journey. I don't think it could get better.
It really is.
Thank you for coming on, Anthea. We've loved watching you over the years on the last 2 seasons of Canberra Survivor and seeing your journey. And I personally loved having you on my team 2 times running. You've absolutely performed outstanding for me. And honestly, it was the hat. I love a great hat, and your hat's the best. So it's fun.
Thank you. Thanks for all the podcasting. It's been really fun. I've been here lurking or catching up later. So I appreciate it.
We love that. Thank you so much, Anthea.
Bye.
Bye. And that nearly wraps up our coverage of Canberra Survivor. The train slowly rolls on. In 2 weeks' time, date to be confirmed, we have the hotly most excited. I've got to really stuff up the language on that. The most hotly excited.
Hotly contested, most excitable.
It's the podcast that everyone waits for. It's the episode that everyone wants to be on. It is the Tea Party. Guest to be confirmed, but new Tea Party host. Annabelle has hung up the saucer. She no longer has time for our little podcast. She's out there doing things on RHAP and shit. Like, she's a real podcaster now. To be honest, she would have kept doing it. She would have kept doing it because she and I once aligned in a Survivor game. And if you're ever aligned in a Survivor game, you are bound together for life, as many of us know. And so I have graciously gave her an opportunity to step away because I know she's got better things to do than watch these LRGs anymore. And Josh O'Brien, I didn't feel anyone could take and step into Annabelle's shoes. Like no one can. But if anyone in this community can come close, it's Josh O'Brien. So he will be taking over a tea party. He's picking up the saucer in a few weeks. Guests to be confirmed. And then, of course, the Congress will assemble and they will choose who of our Brommy nominees will be Orca of the season. I believe we have quite a range of Brommy nominees. We've got Anthea, we've got Mars, we've got Maddie, we've got Bree, we've got Mushy, we've got Nat. Ben, is that everyone?
That's everyone, I'm pretty sure.
That's a lot, though. A lot of Brommy nominees, a lot of votes to be had. Not all the Congress votes, but I never know who is going to vote because I can tell you a lot of these orcas, they don't sit around watching LRGs either. They got their own orca award and swum off into the ocean, never to watch an LRG again. But the ones that do watch will be voting, and there's a good number of those too. It'll be exciting to see who's going to be the orca of this season. Obviously, keep an eye out for these drinks that I now have to pay for again. We'll look forward to getting those sorted, though we have the Melbourne drinks coming up. And Andy wants Mushy to win the orca. Look, possibly. I don't control the Congress. The Congress sometimes does weird things.
Talking to the voting, we talked about it last week, but lots of people are wanting to know how we vote, how that works.
As in how the votes come out.
Yeah.
So the Congress, which is all the people at the start of this video that have previously been deemed the orca of their season, I will assemble them, which is a group chat on Facebook Messenger where have I added you to that chat? I think I have.
I think I was already part of it because I was an honorary orca before I actually got orca.
Okay, well, we send the chat and I say, it is time for you to send me your votes. 3, 2, 1. They know the criteria. I don't judge them. Whatever they put forward to me is what they vote for. And then if you have the most votes, you win. And so they'll be told they can only vote for this list of people. And we'll get 3, 2, 1s and we'll see who gets it. Some have been really close. Some of them will be blowouts. I think this has the potential to be close-ish because I think there's a few options. Normally there's just like a clear standout or two that are like, hotly contested. But I feel like people could vote any which way in this one and it'd be fair, legitimate votes.
I think there's a clear top two, but that's my opinion.
I feel like Ben would have clean sweeped it if he'd made more episodes. Like honestly. He would have won it, but it's pretty hard to win it out of 2 episodes. So that voting is coming up. That will finally wrap up our coverage of Canberra Survivor Season 4. Will wants to keep going because we're talking about him, but we'll always talk about you as the winner of this season. We'll never forget that. Thank you, Dani, for covering in my absence and for being here this evening. We shall see you again on the crowning of the orca in a few weeks.
Yes.
Thank you to everyone that was here live, including Will's posse of friends and family that just went nuts with that. Thank you to Will, the winner of this season. Thank you to Anthea, the absolutely deserving runner-up and should have got more votes. Should have been 4-3. Stand by this. Sorry, Will. But thank you to everybody who's been a part of our coverage this season. We love you all. Thank you to everyone who watches live. We love you the most. Thank you to everyone that listens after, like Anthea, apparently. We love you, just a little bit less. Be here live. Give us comments. We love your admiration and adulation. That's a great
We're orcas. Love us.
We love the adulation. We will be back in a couple of weeks with the tea party. Look out for that. Until then, we shall dance. We're already dancing. Oh, we had a real good sway on there. I'm gonna put that in the video. That's gonna cover the video. See ya.